As the wireless headphone market continues to grow and evolve, there's more and more people clamoring for headphones that give you both the best in the ANC, call quality, battery life, and high fidelity sound. Now, Sennheiser has decades of experience blurring the line between mainstream consumer products and more niche audiophile headphones. So, with Momentum 4, can they deliver the best of both worlds? So the original Momentum headphone was a wired over-ear headphone. It wasn't until the 2.0 that Sennheiser introduced the wireless versions, and then also a TWS version to accompany the 2 and the 3. Momentum 4 is a total redesign, total fresh take on the series with all new tech, all new sound, and everything else. So, can Momentum 4 give us that perfect blend of high-tech consumer appeal and audiophile sound? Let's take a closer look. So we got the Momentum 4 in white because I'm the weirdo who likes white better than black. Kind of an off-white beige. Really nice looking headphones. I do love that the classic Momentum look with the metal slider. These are nice as well. Comes in this case. And inside we have the DAC cable here and also the charging cable, the 3.5 millimeter cable for wired operation, airplane adapter, and then, quick start guide and safety information and all of that in here. So a couple things to note. The USB-C doubles both for the charging and for the DAC mode, and then you can also use it in just standard wired operation. And then this is a touchpad, and there are gesture controls that you use to control things like the volume and the ANC, as well as taps. So controlling some of this, it can be a little bit complicated, but pretty cool once you get the use of, get the hang of doing all of that. Also, I want to mention how these are supremely comfortable. They're very lightweight. And as we'll see in a minute in the comparison section, they may not have chosen the flashiest looking materials, but they chose very comfortable, lightweight materials that just do a great job. This is reportedly excellent for very large heads, according to some people I've talked to who got to test this out. So yeah, just great overall comfort, solid design. Some of you guys might like the black one better, but I like this more vintagey looking off-white with the brown tweed. It's a really cool headphone. Right off the bat, it's pretty clear. Sennheiser Momentum 4 sounds great, but it's definitely more of a fun mainstream tuning than something along the lines of Sennheiser's HD600 or HD500 series. In fact, it may even be a little more fun than previous Momentum headphones. And like many Bluetooth headphones, it's almost as if you've got two different headphones here. There's the Bluetooth version, which is what you're mostly looking at, but then in wired mode, you get a lot of different characteristics in terms of tightening up the bass, adding a little bit more resolution in the treble, and providing general improvements in the sound quality overall. Now, while that's the case, we're going to focus on the main intent of this headphone, and that's Bluetooth via aptX HD as our chosen codec here, even though there are a few other codecs that it supports. We will make some notes on wired versus wireless or even AAC versus aptX performance where it's necessary, but again, we're focusing on that Bluetooth high definition performance. Starting with the bass, there's a big low-end shelf, deep extension into the sub bass, And that bass can overshadow other aspects of the tuning at times. There's really good impact and power in the low end and a dynamic feeling there. But sometimes the bass instruments can lose a little bit of texture in that powerful, emphasized low end. Again, in the wired or DAC mode, that bass cleans up a little bit, and where there's a little bit of bleed up in Bluetooth, particularly notable in the AAC Bluetooth on an iPhone, it can perform in a much more tighter, cleaned up fashion with a little bit more texture to it as well in the DAC mode. The mids are pulled back, and at first it's going to feel like it might be some more of a V-shaped headphone. I see it as more W-shaped because you have this push somewhere in the mid-range that gives the vocals a really nice standout presence. So along with that, you get a really natural timbre. And it gives you these holographic, great vocals and nice standout for in instrumental sections with like an acoustic guitar, piano, other instruments that can occupy there, whether it's the upper range of a cello or viola as well. And it does a great job there, and I think it really helps elevate Momentum's sound, where you do have this bass emphasis, but you also have this really well put together mid-range and this great vocal presentation to go along with it. Momentum's treble is good. There's a good presence there, again, offering that sort of W shape with the strong bass emphasis, that little extra bit of oomph in the vocals, and then solid treble. It really avoids most fatiguing ranges. I didn't find much music I would put on to here to generate any kind of fatigue, whether things like trumpet stabs often get me or sibilant vocals. No issues there. There's a little bit of a smoothness there potentially, and a little bit more veil in Bluetooth, particularly in the AAC. I found the treble felt slightly veiled, but overall, solid treble performance and great balance there in the overall tuning. Now, one of the biggest things with Bluetooth headphones is the call quality, and Momentum 4 has great quality with the calls. There's one feature in particular that really worked well for me, and that is it has the ability to feed your own voice back into your head a little bit, and it gets rid of that feeling if you've ever taken a phone call with closed back headphones or with IEMs. It feels very closed off and uncomfortable. I usually end up pulling one cup off my ear. In this case, the ability to feed back a little bit of your own voice takes away most of that feeling and makes it a lot more comfortable to take phone calls with it than most other closed back headphones I've used. The other features like the ANC and transparency are really well put together. I honestly had a hard time telling whether the ANC was on or not when I was listening to music. It was really only notable when I had the music off and I could tell, man, I can't hear anything in this room right now. So really good execution there that doesn't get in the way of the music or result in a real negative impact on the quality. So for our comparison section, I wanted to do a little bit of a hi-fi wireless shootout. So we've got 3 headphones, bit of a spread in the price point, but I think there's some really interesting comparisons to be had between these. In terms of the build, design, materials, Bathys absolutely stuns with just some of the best builds you could ask for in a headphone. Looks perfectly comfortable right next to Utopia and Stellia, and feels great, looks great, and it's a pretty comfortable headphone as well. Maybe a little bit on the heavy side on account of all the metal and leather and all that stuff. UX3000 and Momentum 4 are both really solid, a little bit more of a standard plasticky build. Momentum 4 is very similar to like a Sony design or a Bose in terms of that. The big difference is the comfort. And while I do kind of like this design with the texture that Final's been doing on the UX3000, the comfort on Momentum 4 is, again, it's next level, and things like the ear cup depth, the accommodation for larger heads and other things really give Momentum 4 the edge here. In fact, I'd say if comfort's the #1 concern, Momentum 4 has the edge over Bathys as well there. In terms of features, there's pretty good similarity here between features. The big thing that's missing is UX3000 doesn't have the transparency or a dedicated app. Otherwise, you've got ANC, you've got support for all the major Bluetooth codecs, you have multi-point connection and other things there. Now, comparing Momentum 4 and Bathys, it's very close. Momentum 4 definitely has the edge on things like battery life, where it has nearly twice the estimated battery life of Bathys. And just, it seems the overall execution's a little stronger on Momentum 4. Things like Sennheiser's app are a little bit better than Focal's app, just from a design perspective and other things. And so, in the feature department, we're really close, but I feel like Momentum 4 just executes that. The tech is just kind of on that next iterative level over what Bathys is doing. If you're less worried about the tech and more just want, solid connection, codecs, and ANC, UX3000 will give you that. But again, overall, it's kind of a couple steps behind the other two in terms of those iterative progressions in technology. Then, of course, there's the sound. So Bathys and Momentum 4 have pretty similar tunings with an emphasized bass, a more balanced, slightly smooth treble, and a fairly sizable cutout in the mid. Now, Momentum 4 has that little bump for the vocals in the mid-range, while Bathys kind of leaves that out and has more of a cut in the mid-range than Momentum 4 does, but less of a emphasized bass. So the bass in Bathys is tighter, and I find the treble performance to be better as well. I think overall, Bathys, in hitting a similar tuning, has a better overall sound quality and performance than Momentum 4. What the surprise is UX3000, which just purely based on tuning, where I think the technical performance of these two may be a little stronger, UX3000 hits the best tuning with something that's really close to a Harman neutral. I found to have crisper highs and more detailed mid-range in general. And this really hits more of that audiophile sound. So now, if you could combine these three into one headphone, the tuning of UX3000 with the comfort and build of these two, somewhere in between these two, the features of the Momentum 4 with the overall performance of the Bathys, put these all together, you have an absolutely amazing headphone. But taken on their own, there's definitely something here for everyone. This is a great pick for the price. And Momentum 4 ups mostly everything about the UX3000 other than the tuning. Again, amazing for the price, but Bathys remains kind of the king with the best sound quality and some of the best features overall in the hi-fi audiophile Bluetooth field. Momentum 4 isn't the wireless headphone that's going to give you that HD 600 sort of reference level detail or that classic Sennheiser tuning. But if you like a little bit more bass, some vocals, that sort of tuning that's really well suited for a lot of modern pop and rock music, Momentum 4 does a great job delivering that, along with all of those modern convenience features that you do really need in a good wireless headphone, like the noise canceling, the great call quality, excellent battery life, and the app and everything else that goes along with that. So while Momentum 4 isn't the perfect nexus of audiophile quality and mainstream convenience, it offers some of the best in the business in terms of features and has a solid appeal for anyone who's a little bit more into the fun side of hi-fi. Thanks for watching. You can check out Momentum 4 and the other products featured in this video at bloomaudio.com. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll be back soon with more hi-fi personal audio content.